I'm Mary Berry, and in this series I'm going to be showing you some of my absolute favourites.
Not too difficult to make, not too many ingredients, and the sort of recipes that the family are going to say, ooh and ah, and please can we have them again?
These favourites have been inspired by the places I love. The countryside, by the sea, markets and gardens. And of course, my home.
I'll be sharing with you some brand new ideas and some recipes that I never ever tire of.
Tonight,
Hello! Rosemary.
it's dishes inspired by the wonderful world of allotments. Like many others, during the war, my father turned our flower beds over to growing fruit and vegetables. So from an early age, I spent hours in the garden, and it's still one of my absolute joys. I continue to grow vegetables, but I'm just one of many who love this great British tradition. And today, 350,000 people have an allotment. They allow people from all walks of life to grow their own fresh food.
They also bring friends and neighbours together, and in this programme I'm doing my favourite recipes inspired by the allotment.
A classic way to use up all those leftover vegetables. My mother's favourite chicken dish with freshly dug potatoes. A delicious dinner party treat with winter root vegetables. And an absolute strawberry crowd pleaser. But first, my favourite dish to serve with homegrown salad leaves from the garden. So first of all, I'm going to line these ramekins with smoked trout, cold smoked trout. It looks like smoked salmon, but it has an excellent flavour. To make it easier to turn out later, line the ramekins with cling film. Then take each piece of smoked trout, and you need to have some just overlapping the top, like that, and put it all the way around. The aim is to make quite sure there aren't any gaps. And that is it already done. So next, the avocado filling. I can remember when avocados first came to Britain. It was in the 1960s, and they became really popular, and people didn't really know what they were. They were pears. Well, there are stories about people serving them with custard. So there they are. You know, a lot of people have tried to grow avocados. I've tried too. It just doesn't work here. It might sprout, you might get a bit of a stick or a tree, but you'll never get any fruit on it, so just give up. To stop the avocado going brown, add a good squeeze of lemon. Make sure it's all coated. Dice 3 de-seeded tomatoes. Then add half of these and 4 sliced spring onions to the avocado. In another bowl, mix 4 tablespoons of mayonnaise and 4 of cream cheese and 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. And I need to add salt and pepper to that. And just fold it in together until it's coated. I want to make absolutely sure that it tastes wonderful. I could do with that mixture just on a lettuce leaf to go with drinks. Wouldn't that be lovely? But it's going in here for this time. Half fill the ramekins with the avocado mixture, followed by a layer of diced tomatoes and another layer of the avocado. And that's the last one. Then take each one and first of all fold over all the smoked trout. Then take the cling film, pull it up all round like that, then fold it over,
And now you need to press it down just with your hand, like that. If you don't press it down, it won't hold together when it's turned out. And that is ready to go into the fridge for 24 hours, ideally.
Once the tianes have set, gather some of your salad leaves.
A little dash of dressing. Now to the exciting part, turning it out. Like that. Doesn't that look special? I like to serve perhaps a really special bread with it and some unsalted butter. Who wouldn't think that is impressive?
Whilst it's very tricky to grow avocados here, I'm off to see one of my oldest friends who, like me, loves to try and grow everything else.
Hello! Welcome!
Rosemary Moon helped to establish the Tangmere Community Garden in East Sussex.
This is quite amazing. There are so many people here, all neighbours, all enjoying growing what they want to eat.
Absolutely, and it's such an amazing place. Come on, let's go and have an explore and come and meet some people.
Now in its 5th year, there are around 40 members growing my great favourites, from beans, tomatoes and potatoes to carrots and strawberries.
So, Mary, this is Steve and Rita, who are actually Captain
Hello.
Potatoes and Sweet Corn.
Hello. Gosh, you're stripping off because it's obviously warm work.
And this is Angie.
Now, were you a bit nervous when you started? Did you not know what you were letting yourself in for?
I don't know whether nervous is the right word. I was excited.
Oh,
I
were
didn't
you?
know what I was going to let myself in for, but I knew that it was an opportunity to be part of my community and meet new friends again.
This was once a disused RAF site, and it's hard to believe that only a few years ago it was barren land.
So, Mary, meet the newest members of the garden. Aren't they gorgeous?
Absolutely lovely. They are saddlebacks, is that right?
Yep, they're saddlebacks. They're 9 weeks old and they're from Aldington Trust up the road.
They do like a little bit of a scratch.
Come on, my poppet. Come on.
There.
Is that nice?
Oh, look, come on, tummy tickle.
I've always been wondering what my vocation in life is. Obviously, tickling.
You're a pig whisperer.
Oh. You can open your eyes.
What I enjoy most about meeting other people who love gardening is to share tips and recipes.
So, Sonia and Monica, you've got some wonderful chard here. What do you use it for?
We use this
Yes?
basically as the lasagna pasta rather than the leaves.
That is ingenious. So you layer up the meat sauce, the bechamel sauce, and then instead of pasta, the stalk of the chard.
Yes.
I can't wait to try Monica's chard lasagna. But first, one of my most treasured recipes to make with your freshly dug new potatoes.
This really is one of my great family recipes. My mother thought it was good, so it must be good. I think I invented it, I suppose, 15 or 20 years ago, and I've loved it ever since. And it's the one recipe that my mother said, this is really so good. She then went home and made it. And I said, did you have all the ingredients, Mum? And she said, well, I didn't have that fancy ginger that you have. She said, I used some of my dried ginger that I use for making ginger biscuits, and it was very good. We still didn't convert her ever to use real, proper, fresh ginger. Right, I'm going to start off by making the marinade, and I'm going to marinate this overnight, ideally. So, first of all, I'm going to put the orange juice in the bag.
Then add 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, about an inch of grated ginger, 3 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon each of chopped thyme and sage,
all that remains is a little bit of pepper and salt in there.
And 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil.
So that's the marinade done. Now to the chicken. What I'm going to do is spatchcock them. That means that you sort of flatten them out and you can get a lovely crisp outside to it. So turn it over and get a pair of sharp scissors and then just cut either side of the backbone. Cut that down, and it's not a difficult job, and you can always use the actual bone for stock. And then go the other side of it. I chose to use poussin. I think they're delicious young birds and they take on a great flavour from this sauce. Then I'm going to spatchcock the chicken. So with the back of your hand, just press that down and then take the wings and tuck them underneath. And you have your chicken already spatchcocked. Didn't take a moment. So put the poussin into the marinade. Now the good thing of doing it in a bag is you don't have a bowl to wash up, you don't get messy hands, and also putting it in the marinade like that means that you don't have to keep turning it, and there it is, getting that wonderful flavour. There we are.
Now leave this to marinade, ideally for 24 hours.
There's one. The smell is wonderful. It smells of herbs, garlic definitely.
My secret to get a nice shine on the top of the chicken is to drizzle over some runny honey.
Then that just helps it to get a nice colour on top. A little dab over the legs as well. So into the oven at about 180 degrees fan, just until it's got a nice colour. So that's had 20 minutes. There it is. Doesn't that look good?
To make a nice rich sauce, add 1 rounded tablespoon of corn flour to a small quantity of the marinade and pour it over the top of the chicken.
Then the rest goes in here.
Pop it back in the oven for 15 minutes.
There it is, bubbling away. Ooh, that smells good. So we've got all the gravy in there, which will go beautifully with my new potatoes. Now you can see that is very, very succulent. No sign of any pinkness, beautifully cooked through. This gravy is to die for. I could just have it as soup. Oh, I've left plenty. So there you have it. That sauce and the poussin goes so well with new potatoes. When you squash the new potatoes down into the sauce, heaven.
I love the new season's crop, but come autumn there's always a glut of fruit and vegetables. One of my favourite ways to preserve them is to make a delicious chutney.
So I've got a lot of tomatoes here, and you know when they get a bit overripe, perfect for chutney.
First, blanch, skin and chop 900 grams of tomatoes.
Put that in the pan first because that adds the moisture.
Then I'm adding 3 peppers, 3 medium onions, a courgette, an aubergine and 4 cloves of garlic. But you can add any vegetable you like as long as its weight comes up to around 2.5 kilos.
Now to the ginger. When I was making chutney in my younger days, there was not such a thing as fresh ginger. There was ginger, you bought it from the greengrocer, but it was all shriveled and dried. But how much nicer now we have fresh ginger. I use it a lot in recipes and I love it. Might have to scrape it down. That's it. Looking round, what else have I got to add? It's the chilli. Now, you make it as hot as you want to. I'm adding 1 fair-sized chilli. All the veggies are in there, and I'm just starting it on a low heat.
You'll need to leave this simmering for about an hour. Just give it an occasional stir.
Should be ready. Gosh, look at that wonderful colours coming through. It's beginning to look like chutney.
Now it's time to add the spices and seasonings that make it special. 1 tablespoon of paprika, a tablespoon of salt.
And then some pepper, just to your liking. And then I'm going to do some crushed mustard seed. It'll make it really piquant. So in that goes.
Then add 300 ml of distilled malt vinegar and 350 grams of granulated sugar.
Right, all the ingredients are in there. Give it a good stir. Now that smells a bit like a pickle factory. I love it because it reminds me that I'm going to get a wonderful chutney in the end.
Once the sugar has dissolved, turn up the heat and bring it to the boil. While it's reducing, take care it doesn't catch on the bottom of the pan.
Right, it's got to the right consistency. There is no runny liquid in the bottom. So I'm going to turn the heat off. That looks really good. You see, that is chutney consistency. So here I've got a selection of sterilised jars. Just dollop that in. That's it. Push the chutney down. Make sure you don't have any air bubbles in it. Chutney will keep 2 years, providing you've got a good seal on the top. And once open, keep it in the fridge. I put it in the fridge because then it's always to hand and we eat a lot of chutney.
One of the special things about the Tangmere Allotment is that it's not only about growing.
What I like is that you have cooking sessions here. You know, you make pizzas, you've got a sort of a cooker over there.
Sort of a cooker? How rude is that? It's not a range cooker, it's a washing machine drum from the local tip, and we build a fire in the middle, we've got a great big pan, and off we go.
And so in it goes.
I'm helping the children to make their own pizza with a very simple dough of flour, oil, water and yeast.
I find that if I put my whole hand in the flour like that, okay, it's less likely to stick. So you have a bit of flour on there, look. Okay, now rub your hands together. That's it. Aidan, what are you going to put on top of yours?
I'm going to slice tomatoes, some cheese.
What would you like to put on? You can't put sweets on top. Come on, what are you going to put on top?
Sweet beans.
Beans, what a good idea. So we're going to have an exciting pizza, and all you've got to do now is to roll it out so that it's nice and flat. And you've got a lot of people to feed here, so you better get going.
And it's not just pizza on the menu. There's also the charred lasagna.
Now, there's all these vegetables gleaned from around me. We've got butternut squash, I can see some swede, the leaf of the chard, is that right, is in there?
Yes, it is.
And there's courgettes, tomatoes, and are you putting a sauce on there?
Yep, this is just Greek yoghurt and eggs with some seasoning. So we're just going to put that on the top there.
Do we put cheese on that as well?
Yes, we can do. We've got some grated cheese.
That's a good covering, and then into the oven until
It's set.
Set and a gorgeous golden brown. I can't wait for that.
It is so satisfying to turn your vegetables into something delicious.
Look at that.
And my next recipe is a wonderful way to make the most of them.
The popular lamb shanks are the rather large ones that come from the hind leg of a lamb, and they're very big. These are the foreshanks. That's from the front leg of the animal, and I think these are a much better size for one portion. And if you cook them long and slow, they taste absolutely delicious.
First brown the shanks in some really hot oil.
The reason for browning them is it seals the outside. Also, it gets a lovely brown crust on them, and that helps to give colour to the casserole at the end, as well as flavour.
Now add 2 large sliced onions and 2 cloves of garlic.
Give that a good stir round.
Once these have softened, add 400 ml of beef stock.
So bring that to the boil.
To thicken the gravy, take a rounded tablespoonful of flour and add 300 ml of red wine.
You always read in recipes that use the dregs of the wine or the wine that's left. There's never any wine left in our house, so I will take it from the new bottle, but I shall have a little tipple later just to use it up. And just mix that to a paste. And because it's cold, it won't go in lumpy. So I'll pour that in, stirring all the time, and that will just thicken it up a little.
To give the gravy extra depth, I like to add a teaspoon of chopped rosemary and a tablespoon of red currant jelly.
It looks pretty delicious there, and I'm just going to let it cook slowly now at 140 fan for about 2 hours, just until it's tender. When you grow your own vegetables, they're very precious, but sometimes when you put vegetables into a casserole, they're cooked for far too long, they lose their flavour and they're mushy. I like to boil them for about 8 to 10 minutes in salted water, so they're just tender, and then half of them I just toss into butter. Oh, you've got to be strong to carry this lot. Oh, look at that. It's a really good, rich brown colour.
Now add the rest of the vegetables to the casserole.
So everybody will have some vegetables that are actually in the casserole and some that are lovely and fresh looking and colourful. And then a little of the sauce over the top. So isn't that something really, really special? Now I can't resist having a taste. It's coming away like a dream. Look at that. Don't you wish you were me? Do you know what? That's a cracking recipe.
Ever since I was a child, I've loved picking berries. And there's no end to the delicious things you can make with them.
Lucy's strawberry slices. Why Lucy's strawberry slices? Because Lucy's been with me now for 24 years. Together we develop all the recipes. And this is one of her great favourites. They are dead easy to make, all in one method, and so delicious to eat.
To make the sponge, take 4 eggs, 225 grams of baking spread, then add 225 grams of sugar, 300 grams of self-raising flour, and 2 level teaspoons of baking powder.
Let's put the lid on because I'm bound to knock it over. That's it.
Then add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 4 tablespoons of milk.
And then move it round gently. Now that looks lovely and creamy, beautifully smooth.
Turn it all into a 23 by 30 greased and lined tray bake tin.
Then just level that and push it right into the corners. It does seem very strange not to have little people around dying to lick the bowl. I miss it. But I do cook with my grandchildren. They always want to get to the stage of licking the bowl. So that goes into the oven now at 160 fan, and it will take about 35 minutes.
You'll know when it's ready when it's pale golden brown and springy to the touch. Now just trim the edges and cut it into 27 pieces.
Now you must think that's an odd number, but 3 9s are 27. So if I do 3 strips and then cut each one into 9. There we are, 27 little soldiers there. Now to the filling.
Mix 2 tablespoons of strawberry jam with 300 grams of halved strawberries and add a squeeze of lemon juice.
The strawberry jam just gives them a wonderful shine and a gloss.
Add 200 ml of creme fraiche to 300 ml of whipped cream.
Right, now to the filling of them. Then on go the strawberries, and gentle squeeze, and they look, I think, most inviting. A different way of having strawberries and cream. You're wondering what this one's? Did I forget to put it on the plate? That is blissful. It really is. In fact, I can't wait for the next slice. Do I push it right to the back?
Yep. That's it.
There we are. This is what it's all about. A day on the allotment, producing wonderful food. And the reward, right at the end of the day, is a great gathering like this. Tables being laid, all the food has come off the land. So I'm going to join them, and I'm hoping there's a very nice glass of cold white wine as well. Here's to Tangmere Community Garden. Every success in 2015.
Thank you. Cheers.
Next time,
Who's got room for my favourite pudding?
it's my favourite recipes inspired by my family.